this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So we are doing our 7 days working with what's on our desk videos. So this video number 2, as you can see, what a tip. And we have a lot of things to work with. So I will put the camera now up on the stand and let's get making. Right, I have put the camera up and we can just now kind of get on and see what we can pull out of the bag today. So again, I might just continue in the same vein as the last video in that I might just, pull the next thing off of the top of the pile with the main pile. I mean, there's multiple piles on my desk, but the main pile from my desk and just get working with it. So I have got this here, which, as you can see, this is just some scrapbook paper. I mean, it's quite nice. I wouldn't necessarily use it, again, I wouldn't necessarily use it in a journal, but it is, it is quite nice. So what we could do is make some clusters or something from this. Because, if we tear this into smallish pieces, I think it would be quite nice as a sort of background for clusters. Now, I had obviously folded this, I've used it for something else and I'd already folded it. So I'm just going to tear it along the fold. And then what I'm going to do is just tear around. So as I've got a couple of sections to make some, some cluster type pieces. So we just tear around there. So that's going to be for one, and then we'll just tear around here as another one, like that. And then I'll just do the same with the other side. So I'm going to bin this whole piece here in the bin. So successfully, no matter what else happens in this video, I have binned something. Right, for anyone who's just joining me and never watched my channel before, I am not a lunatic, honestly. This is just, clearing some of the stuff from my desk. And yes, I do hear that you may, or, I do hear you shouting, just throw things away, but, I just can't. So, yeah, I binned that piece as well. So there we go. Right, so I've got 4 bases there to make some clusters. So that's awesome. And hopefully by making these clusters, we can also get rid of some other little pieces from the desk. So let's just see what else we've got here laying around and then work with that. Now, I mean, this obviously, it doesn't really kind of go with that at all, but I don't know, for some reason it is pulling me in. Don't ask me why, I have no idea. I've also got those flowers, which we used these in the last video, but the big red ones. But I'm thinking these are quite nice to go with these. So let's just tear around those and, possibly go with those. Like that. Now, is that just too monstrous on there? I don't know. Let's just go for that. Another piece bites the dust. Bites the dust. Sorry, I can't even speak now because it's obviously so exciting to be getting rid of a lot of this. Well, not a lot of this stuff, but some of this stuff. So we just tear around here. This is just from my dictionary definitions. They were just, I think I did three definitions without a frame or anything. So that's just one of those. And again, it had just been sort of laying around on my desk. So it's good to just use it up, to be honest. Well, I quite like that, how that's coming together at the moment. So we can do that. Now, for another one, just got lots of flowers here. When I was making my flower printables, I had made quite a few and they were too big, but I'd already printed them out by then. So obviously I didn't want to just throw them away. So, let's use those and get them off the desk. So I'm just rummaging through the pile now, seeing what else I've got here. I've got some of my little floral pieces here from my botanical ballroom, and these, aren't they perfect colours with that? Yeah, I think they're perfect. So let's use, right, let's just cut these down. So we'll just trim those down, and then, I mean, I quite like this blue one, so I'm just going to try and tear that. Like that. Let's do that. And then let's have, I like the pink one, funny enough, so let's just do the pink one like that. Trying to well, I say this, I will probably fail miserably, but I was going to say trying to achieve a little bit more than yesterday's, where I ended up making 2 things in the whole video. So I'm hoping we're going to achieve slightly more today, because obviously at this rate my desk, you know, after 7 days is just not going to look at all different to how it looked in the first place. So we'll see what we manage. Right, okay, so that's those. Now, what else have I got here? Rummaging through, because I'm thinking could do with probably some sheet music. And there we go. There is some. So let's do that there, like that. Oh, I don't know now. Maybe not those. See what else I've got laying about. Got this. That's quite good. And then I'm sure I had some doilies. Oops. I've got that one with a bit of gold even on it. It's quite nice. Oh, that's quite a nice little cluster, isn't it? And do you know what? I could probably do the Jessica wrap thing and staple that, because I think that staple would hold everything. Well, hey, look at that. That's awesome. I think that's probably the first time I've ever actually managed to have enough things going through, you know, at the same place and use a staple. So that's really cool. Really cool. I don't say it's like, you know, like hers, because she's very awesome at doing it. But I'm just going to tear this down slightly so it's a bit smaller. Yay! Oh, I feel really pleased with that. So that's a whole cluster just literally done in like a couple of seconds. So let's put that to one side. Now, can I do that again? I doubt it, to be honest. Right. I've got another mulberry flower here, which I had sprayed with some dilutions years ago. It's just been laying on my desk ever since. But that is quite a good colour for that, isn't it? So if we have that there, just fidgeting around on my chair, so do excuse me. Just deciding now what else we could have there. So let me just have a look and see what else I've got laying around here. Got some doily. Obviously this is not gold this time, but it's not bad. Not too bad. Let's ink these bits up, but I might keep the doily white. So we just ink up the sheet music. Like that. Ink up this piece. Like that. Whoops. Now, can I do 2, do you think, with the one staple? The one staple method. Let's see. So just ink around that a little bit. And do we want a little bit of lace on this one as well? So we're going to have it like that. Some doily there. You know what we could have? I've got those postage stamps. And they're in colours. And I have got a pot of blues. Look at that. Oh, that's perfect, isn't it? Oh, wow. Let's just go through that with a staple. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. It's the first time, I think, that I've ever actually managed to clamp things just with like a staple like that. I mean, I'm a bit funny like that, and I would probably still apply a little bit of glue, but I do feel excited that I've actually managed to layer them up in the correct way that a staple would actually hold them. So that's 2. Wow, exciting this is. Okay, can we do another one? I don't think so. I don't think this one will be a staple jobby, but who knows? Let's see. You know, maybe we will be surprised. So we'll do this word, and then I'm just going to go round the edge of here like that. And the other thing that you can do, I mean, obviously if you didn't like that pattern, I mean, you could always put it upside down so as you just had the white background. I mean, now actually I'm thinking maybe I prefer the white background. Oh, I don't know. I mean, the gold is kind of nice because it's a bit of a contrast, but I did quite like the white. Oh, well, let's just have it like that. Right, now I'm having a look to see whether I could add some sort of lace here, because we haven't got any lace yet. So again, this is just, you know, lace that's just laying around on my desk. So I'm just going to tear this down, and then we'll just cut a section like that. Now, how would we do this? Would we put that under there like that, and that there like that? Oh my gosh, look. Are we going to get another one stapled and held by staple, do you think? Don't know whether that lace is actually under there, I've got to confess. So I might staple this and find the lace just drops straight out. Yay, that lace is held there, would you believe? I mean, it's not probably held massively, so I'm just going to add a little dab of glue. But wow, this is like amazing. So let's just add some glue there. Wasn't necessarily my intention to make clusters now, but obviously I'm just using whatever I grab on my desk. So, I mean, I guess these are one of those projects that really is lending itself to that type of thing. And you know what I should have done? I should have popped a postage stamp in there as well to see, because again I've got these little colour coordinated ones, but they're purples. I thought maybe there was a bright pink. Oh, there is a bright pink. Oh, look at this. Now I'm too late to obviously staple that in because I've already applied the staple, but let's just ink that up a little bit. You could maybe squash that in there. Is that a bit strange because his head's just poking out then? Oh, perhaps it's better without the stamp. Oh, you see, I got all excited then and just, yeah, probably better without. But still, that's another one, bites the dust. Right, then we have this one. So this is like the last one now. Let's try and make it a hat trick where we can do another one actually in, you know, stapled in. Now, I don't know which way up this needs to be. Probably like loads of people out there who can read music who are again shouting at the screen saying, oh, it's the wrong way up. But I just haven't got the foggiest idea whether it's the wrong way up or not. So just going to have to go for it. And, you know, let's be honest, sod's law, it's going to be the wrong way up, isn't it? Of course it's going going to be the wrong way up. Right, so if we pop that in there, now again, now thinking maybe a green, because of the green in the leaves of that flower. Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? And then, what about some lace or something? Nope, not that. Not that. Definitely not that. About this. Oops, that's quite nice. So let me just again trim this down. Right, so we're going to put that there. And then we're going to have the green. Now, is that the right way up? Yep, I think it is. And then we're going to have this like that. And I'm thinking one more thing would look quite good on there. So let's just see what else we could have. No, it needs to be something small. So either like another word or another one of those little mulberry flowers would be good. Or, I don't know, maybe like a Martha Stewart butterfly would have been good. Or this little rosebud, maybe that would be good. Oh, that's cute, isn't it? That's cute. So I'm going to try again and staple that. Hopefully, grabbing all the pieces. Yay! Oh my goodness! I'm so excited. Honestly, I've never done the staple thing successfully before, so this is very exciting for me. Now again, I might just actually tear this down so I don't have quite so much gold around there. Like that. And again, what I might do is, although that has stapled that right through, is I might just add a bit of my 3-in-1, you know, just for good measure, so hopefully it's properly attached everywhere. I'm just a bit, I think, paranoid that things are not really attached properly. So, well, obviously Jessica is, you know, a lot better at doing these than me, so she probably manages to clamp them, you know, a little bit more securely than I have. So yeah, I'll just kind of add a bit of extra glue there. Wow, well, I'm really pleased with those. So I have got 4 clusters there just made in like no time whatsoever, so super exciting. So that's 4 pieces. Let me put them down behind me. Let me check the time and that I am still filming even. Oh gosh, the light's over the clock again. I think it says like 17 minutes something. Right, so let's again just go back into our pile. Look what was lingering there. It's the rest of that scrapbook paper that we altered, you know, for using the, you know, the scrapbook papers that you didn't necessarily like previously and things like that. So we've got that there. So let's just have a look and see what we could do with that. And again, I'm just rummaging through to see what other stuff I've got there. Got an envelope here. So I'm thinking we could do some sort of something on the envelope. I'm just working out which is the, you know, the best section to use here for popping on here. Because obviously, you know, this is, I mean, basically this is like half a 12 by 12 sheet. So we've got a lot here and we want to obviously make the best use of it. So I'm thinking maybe here. So I would just tear it down, I think, here. Like that. And then we've got that envelope. Now this envelope, this is a vintage envelope. As you can see, it's kind of like stuck down already. You know, the gum has already stuck down. I assume just from age and things, it's, you know, it's already stuck down. So I'm just going to make sure it's really stuck down, as opposed to just a little bit stuck down. So I'll just go around any bits where it's slightly lifting, so it's, you know, properly stuck down there. Okay. like that. And then we'll take this, I think. Now, obviously we've got this here of Leonardo da Vinci, and we can either chop half his face off and have it down here, but the chances are we're going to cover it up with something anyway. So the fact we chop half his face off, it probably won't matter, because, like, you know, if we cover it up, you wouldn't really ever know his face had been there. So I think I'm going to do that, because otherwise his face might be in the way, to be honest, anyway. You know, and then we'll be actually restricted, because we'll have like a section we can't really use. So I'm thinking like that. So let's just go for this, shall we? Should we go for this? Yeah, let's just go for it. So again, let's just glue that down. I've said this so many times, I know, just like a scratched record, but you know, I'm really excited because I feel like, wow, at the end of these 7 videos, you know, my desk's going to be clear. Of course, that's just not going to happen, is it? Because especially as I've made like 2 things yesterday, or in the last video, you know, I made 2 things. So of course that's just, just not going to happen at all. But I feel like, oh wow, my desk's going to be clear, you know. What a wally thinking that. Why would I think that is beyond me, to be honest. Why would I even think that in the first place? Right, so I quite like that there. Now I'm just having a look again, seeing what other stuff is laying about. I've got this little word here, that's really nice. And I've got, obviously, you know, more flowers and things. Not sure about those. Got that pink one. Let's just cut this one out and see. Okay, so I hope everyone's having a good day. If my video has, or my videos have spurred you on to get making from your desk, I hope you're having more success than me and have managed more than 2 things. But your desk is probably not as messy as mine in the first place. So to be fair, your 2 things, you know, might have made quite an improvement on your desk. But yeah, it's fun to do anyway, isn't it? You know, I mean, I am joking. I don't really mind that my desk is that much of a tip. Although, you know, I have said recently, even I am finding my desk a little bit too on the messy side of late. So, yeah, even I've come to the point where it's like, oh my gosh, my desk is so crazy. But yeah, if you're doing this as well, I'd love to see pictures of how you're getting on, and I mean, maybe do like a before and after of your desk. So like a before the 7 days and then an after, to see how much room you have created. And along with your, you know, humongous pile of projects, you know, I mean, obviously my pile is not going to be humongous. If I'm going at a rate of two items a day, that's going to be 14 things I'll have made by the end of the week. So, but maybe you will have a humongous pile of things. I'm thinking if we have it like that. Look what I've done. I'm hanging on to this scrap. Why am I hanging on to that scrap? I'm trying to clear my desk. And yet for some reason, I can't bring myself to throw that scrap away. I have now. I've thrown it away because that's just ridiculous, isn't it? Why would I be hanging on to it when the actual mission that we're working on here in the first place is to actually get rid of stuff? You know, clear some space. Oh, it's crazy sometimes, isn't it? Crazy what we do. I mean, look, got that floating around from Christmas. I'm going to be rigid and bin that because it's holly. I'm not going to make Christmas projects today. Right, got this lady here, which doesn't really go because this is a little bit purpley or lilac-y sort of based. Got that label. This label obviously is just from, I think in the last video even, we used this maybe on the tag we made. I think we made it on the tag. Used it, sorry, on the tag. So, yeah, perhaps we'll have that there. Wondering what to put down this strip here. Got this laying around. This is from my Beauty Fair kit. So, could even have that there, like that. Which is quite nice, isn't it? Let's just keep that to one side while I have a think about that. Oh, I have something else here actually, a stamped piece, which now I'm of course not going to be able to find. Oh, I found it already, my gosh. Oh, I was thinking we could have that there, but actually it's going to cover up that butterfly, and I was trying not to cover that butterfly up. Right, let's go back to the drawing board. I don't know what happened to that word saying perfect that I had just now. Literally, you know, I glued something down and then the next second it's just disappeared. Where did that go? Where did that go? Got some of my dominoes here. Maybe we could have a domino. These dominoes are probably quite fun for clusters actually. Oh, what a horrible job I've made of cutting that out. It's like a round domino now. Oh well. That's quite nice, isn't it? Oh, that's quite fun. I quite like that. Just don't know what to put down this side. I mean, we don't have to put anything down there, obviously. What I should have done was probably put some book page down there. Yeah, I probably should have done that before we've obviously glued this on. Now let me just have a rummage again through my pile of rubbish that's here. And see, I've got some book page here. Let's just tear that down. That might be quite nice, mightn't it? I mean, I should have put that underneath there. I would have felt happier with it that way round. But that's fine. Actually, I'm going to ink this before I tear it. Because the smaller it is, you know, the more difficult it's going to be to ink it up. My ink pad's getting a bit dry, so that's not really helping. So we're just going to tear this down here at this side, like that. Okie dokie. So we're just going to pop that down on the side. Oops, my glue now has just been laying down, so it probably won't now work. Oh, it is. Okay. Okay, down there like that. Just smooth that out a little bit. Okay. Let's get rid of these straight away before I'm hoarding those next. Okay, get my domino. Ink that a little bit around the edge. Like that. I mean, actually, we could have the flowers there. Of course, then we're not really covering up the face. You know, we're sort of half covering up. So that's maybe not ideal, but I don't mind it like that. It's quite nice like that. What do you guys think? Why have I gone into overthinking mode? Because what I really need to do is just glue these pieces down, you know, so that I'm just, you know, clearing things straight away from my desk. But instead I've gone into shall I, shan't I, you know, overthink mode, which is precisely what I shouldn't be doing, really. Precisely what I shouldn't be doing when I'm trying to clear my desk of stuff. Because obviously I really need to be working on getting as much things made as possible during one of these videos, not dilly-dallying, you know, like this. There we go. Right, so I'm just going to glue those flowers down there. Okay, and then it must be surely nearly time for a cup of tea. I'm sure a cup of tea is going to just, you know, spur me on no end. And I'll be racing through and making tons and tons of pieces. I'll have nothing left on my desk. No, I mean, obviously, if only that were true. Okay, right. Still debating whether to have that up there, I'm not sure. Now, I have got, obviously, some lace here, or I've got this fabric. No, not the fabric, I think. So let me just tear some more of that lace off. It kind of like just tears really easily down the seam bit. What would be quite nice is to just have a little bit sort of stapled maybe. I'm going to just cut that there. And then what I might do is just literally like sort of ruffle it and staple it. So just do one there. Oh, so much for ruffle and staple. Did you see that? It's just completely flat. I'll try and take that staple out and try again. We'll ruffle and staple, I said, and it's just, I'd never seen such a flat piece of lace. completely flat. Right, let's try again. Okay, right, here goes. I'm gonna try and ruffle and staple. So I just make sure that's folded. Yay, I have a crease. I have a crease there. Right, and another one here now. I don't know what happened with that first one, but it was rubbish, I must say. Right, let's do that one there. Oh, there's that word, look. Perfect. It's just shown itself. Well, I guess it's not too late. We might still be able to squash it on there somewhere. I'll just do it there. Right. Okay. So that looks really pretty with that little bit of lace down there, I think. And then we've obviously now got the word that's reappeared. Right. Let's just ink this up. Oh, I don't know now. I mean, that word would actually look quite cool there. How I would really kind of adhere that to that, I'm not so sure, but I like how that looks. It looks really cool. Oh, I'm going to just try and do that, I think. Right, let's try and hot glue that on. So I don't know how this is going to be, but I guess if I squash it down quite a lot, then it's going to hopefully be on there, you know, on there securely, but looking, well, not just looking, I mean, obviously it has got that ruffled lace behind it. So, well, that's cute, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so that's that. So then I just want to put something at the top. So again, I might just have to pop another bit of lace or something at the top, because otherwise to me it just looks a little bit plain. So I'll just bring that lace back in. Might just pop some lace right the way across. So again, what you can do with this lace is just kind of cut it through the middle, and then it just tears quite easily. It's just got like a natural tearing point. So I'm just going to pop that there. And then what I'm going to do is open this envelope up at the top, I think. So, well, actually, now I'm thinking, Now I'm thinking, where's my thumb hole punch? So hold on. Right, I'm going to come back to the thumb hole. I'm not going to put the lace there. I'm going to cut it down here. And then in slower time, when you're not having to wait for me to go and find my thumb hole punch, my circle punch, I'm going to make a thumb hole in there. So let me just glue this down, because obviously this is that envelope that, you know, was sort of gummed down. So I'm just going to re-glue that to make sure it stays glued. And I'm going to put a thumb hole in here, just at the top with my circle punch. So let me just take my lace now. I'm just tearing it so I've got a whole, you know, a whole strip now. I might just have a bit of lace. You know, obviously my thumb hole would be like here. So might just have a bit of lace to the side, maybe like that. So I'll just use my 3-in-1 for that. Oops. Okay. There we go. I'm just going to kind of, you know, smooth that out, and then she wonders why everything's stuck to her. Honestly, what's wrong with me? Right, because that glue, otherwise, you know, sometimes it's a little bit thick and, you know, very visible. So by just taking the top layer off, it just made it a little bit less visible. So, you know, that's why I did that. I'm just going to have a look and see whether we'd like some bling on here. I was thinking the black, but then this one just caught my eye. Just find some of my black one. Oh, again, now I can't find any. Right, well, we might just have to go with this one, because I know it just is so frustrating if you're just literally watching and I'm just hunting around beside me, because, you know, you can't even see what I'm looking for. So, talk about boring. Or I have got this silver, so let's just have a look at this. I just do like a 3. Could just have that there. It's quite pretty, isn't it? Okay. I mean, I would have preferred the black, but I just don't want to, you know, take up loads of time looking for some. So, oh dear. I know I'm saying that, and now I'm still looking, but because when you get something in your mind, you just want to try it, don't you? Oh, I'm going to have to not try it, because, yeah, clearly the black is not somewhere locatable. And I say that, and obviously the second I stick this down, I will then spot some black laying around somewhere. Actually, I might have some in this packet, which is also laying around on my desk. There could even be some in here. No, there's not. Well, would you believe it? Would you believe it? No. Right, okay, I'm just going to go for this. It looks, you know, looks good enough. Right. Come on. Okay. Right, just pop that on there like that. Okay, so as I say, I'm going to put a thumb hole in that, but I'm not going to, you know, I'm going to spare you the misery of waiting for me to hunt around to find my circle punch. I normally always keep my circle punch on my shelf above my desk, but today I don't have it up there because I had taken it out with me whilst I was doing some crafting. So I'm going to pop this to one side, but that's another little pocket piece, and, you know, looks pretty, doesn't it? I can't help but think, actually, I'd like a butterfly on there. Let me see what butterflies I have. Oh, gosh, that one's not Not a good colour on there, is it? I mean, obviously I have loads that would be the right colour, but I'm really trying to be strict and using just the things from my desk. So clearly now going and finding a butterfly from elsewhere is not really in the spirit of this, is it? So yeah, I'm just going to work with what I have here. So no, might not be able to put a butterfly on. Well, who knows? I might come across a butterfly in a minute, to be honest. So, right, let's put that to one side. Okay, let's crack on. Let me see. Right, 40 minutes. Time for, hopefully, another piece. So, again, I'm just literally rummaging through my pile of stuff here beside me. You know, obviously I have loads of bits. I mean, probably, you know, the ideal thing is to obviously use some of the bits of larger paper, because they're obviously what's taken up quite a lot of room. So although it's great when we use all our tiny bits, you know, the things that are really kind of bulking my desk out are obviously the quite big pieces. So this one here, again, what I should probably do is try and use this in its entirety, because then I'm straight away using an entire sheet just literally on one piece. So I'm thinking we could do, the problem is with this, you see, I really like both sides. I like the polka dot and I like the floral, so I find this quite a tricky one to use. Right, let's do a three-way fold out thingy like that. So just fold that in like that, and then we're just going to trim off down the edge, you know, very small slither. My gosh, I've done really well, and it looked really straight until the last bit, and then just totally off. Right, okay, that's that piece. And then again, we'll trim it down across the top slightly. Okay, so again, what I would probably do here is put a thumb hole. Now, you know, as you know, I can't, you know, don't know where my thumb hole punch is. It's in a bag somewhere, so I will spare you the misery of me, you know, looking for that yet again. So just want to decide which way round I want it, whether I want it this way round or this way round. The only reason I say that is because there's more of a space here, if that makes sense. So I think I'll have it this way, where it's more of a snug fit, if that makes sense. So again, if you've got your sewing machine, obviously you could sew here, and that would be, you know, a really nice look. Obviously, as you know, I don't have my sewing machine here, so I'm not going to be doing that. I am, however, working on, hopefully, a way of being able to film with my sewing machine. It wouldn't be a case of like, you know, like Rachel and things, and they just have their sewing machine beside them and can then just, you know, flip between the desk and the sewing machine. But I would be able to do some sewing machine videos, you know, which would be cool. So I will keep you posted. Hopefully it will pan out, and hopefully I will be able to do that soon. Right. Okay, so that's the foundation piece there, which is awesome. It's obviously used up an entire piece of paper from my desk. Oh, and as I said that, look what I've just spotted. More of that paper laying about. But that's fine, because actually I could make this like the journaling card, oops, that will slot into here. And then, you know, it's perfectly coordinating as well with this, which, you know, I love it when it's all matchy-matchy. So for me, that's just really cool. Right, let's decide now what we're going to put on here. I've got this. Can't wait to use this because I love this stamp, but I don't think it's quite right for this piece, actually. Let's just see what else I've got laying about. I'm looking to my little tiny stash here to the left, which much smaller. Don't have so much stuff to the left. Well, obviously it's a smaller space, so I mean there's not room for enough things there, you know. Sure, if there was a little bit more room, my gosh, I would just fill it with all sorts of stuff. No, not that. Definitely not that. Right, let's have a look. Just seeing what type of thing would look ideal here. I've got some of my... Oh no, I haven't. No, I haven't. Please just ignore me for a minute. Oh, what have I got? What have I got here? Oh, I've got some vellum for a start. I don't like that on there. It makes it look very orange, weirdly enough. This paper, this is some scrapbook paper, but it very easily turns orange. You know, when you distress ink it and things like that, it very quickly turns orangey looking. Don't ask me why that is, but yeah, it does that, which is just really odd, isn't it? Right, let's keep rummaging. I must have all sorts of things here to use. Something's going to just jump out at me in a minute. Right, I've got this. That's pretty on there, isn't it? What else have I got? I'm so sorry that I can't actually film the stuff that I'm rummaging through. I mean, obviously, if I were to do that, I would just be literally stop, start with the camera, which, you know, probably would just make the most shambolic video ever, wouldn't it? So, you know, it's probably best that I just do it as we are. But it would be nice. It would have been nice to be able to, like, film and show, if you see what I mean. Right, have this. Let's just tear her down. This is one of those Crafty Individuals Dancing Lady stamps. I know that I've obviously used this a few times, and this was just another one that I had stamped whilst doing that video where I did the using the 2 stamps. So this was just like a spare. And it's stamped onto that painted magazine page, which I love the feel of that. I know I talk about that. I've talked about that before, but I can't express enough how much I like the feel. It just does feel so nice. I mean, to me, that just looks really good, just exactly as it is. I don't even feel like it needs much else. But of course, you know, we won't leave it like that. Of course, we will add other things, but let's just see what else we can add. So I'm just hunting around, seeing what else is laying about here. No, don't really want to have that. Got some of those flowers. These are like the add-on flowers for my vintage notes kit, which actually I have to say I quite like those with her, but not with this. This is just a scrap of paper from my Blossom Blush. But I do love how that looks against that scrapbook paper, I have to say. Looks really nice, doesn't it? I wonder if I've got any more of that Blossom Blush paper anywhere. I probably have, buried in amongst my stuff somewhere. It's just a case of locating it, really. Oh no. I thought that might have looked good, but no. Definitely no. Oh, what else have I got? Come on. So sorry if this is really turning very tedious and boring now. I guess it's going to be a bit like that because obviously we're working with what's on the desk, so each time that we're hunting around for things, it's going to be a bit of a case of, you know, bear with me while I hunt for something, I guess. Right. I mean, this is a bit of a different sort of video for me, so yeah, it might not work so well. Got those, which I just found buried. I mean, this is a good exercise because it is quite shocking, actually, the stuff I'm finding here buried. So, yeah, I certainly don't have a shortage of pieces to use. I mean, whether or not they're the right pieces and whether or not I can actually find them in time is another thing altogether. But I certainly not short of pieces, let's just say. Right, so I've got this, which, again, I mean, obviously this is not the best ideal piece for this project, but let's just you know, work with it anyway. Got these white doily, because I'm thinking I might not ink this piece, because as I say, I don't like how this pink scrapbook paper goes when it's been inked. It does take on very orange sort of look, which obviously doesn't really then go with this project. So, you know, I might not actually ink this. I might just keep it as a, you know, pretty and a brighter sort of piece. So let's just have one of these pretty pink flowers, because that's really, really nice, isn't it? Then I have got some white lace, again, that I just found buried under some stuff. So we could have that there. So let's just start layering some of these things up. So let's just pop this one down. Okay. Obviously this is a printable and I could have just printed some more of this out, but because I'm trying to be really strict and only use the things that are on my desk, that's why I'm just making use with just this tiny piece. You know, in an ideal world I would have just printed out a bigger piece and then torn around it and had it kind of bigger on here, but you know, I am really trying to be as per the brief of only working with what's on the desk. So yeah, that's why I didn't bother doing that, because otherwise I'm just doing any old craft video, I guess, aren't I? I'm not really then clearing my desk at all. I'm just doing what I normally do. So I need to keep that in mind a bit. Okay, so we're going to have her on there. Oh, she's just so lovely. I really do, you know, just love that image, to be honest. Right. We'll just glue her down like that. Okie dokie. Let me just check the time, because oh my gosh, I'm up to like 52 minutes. I need to now get a bit of a move on so I don't just take your whole day up. Right, okay, so I found this white lace. Now it's got a natural seam in there, natural, I guess that's where it was, you know, taken off from something. So I'm going to just cut it there, because that obviously was creating a natural place to cut it. It wasn't, it was a natural seam, it was a natural cutting place. So I'm just going to cut around there. Sometimes I use this lace with that net type header, and sometimes I like to cut it, you know, cut it around here on this curvy bit. Just sort of what takes my fancy at the time, really, but for this piece I just thought it would look quite nice like that. So I'm just going to glue that one down. Oops, let me just again clear that sort of nozzle of the glue. Okay, I'm just going to stick this pink flower down. Just pop that there. And then this, I would just add the glue straight to the lace, or to the trim, I guess now. And we'll just pop that down there. And I've popped that lower because I wanted to still have that bit of pink paper, you know, this patterned paper showing in between. So that's why I did that. Okay. So that looks really pretty, doesn't it? I have also got this flower, but it's then getting all a bit bulky, so I don't think I will do that. Now, obviously, inside, I would probably put a pocket. I'm just aware that, obviously, time is kind of ticking by, really, so I don't think this is going to be quite right, because obviously it's a little bit on the long side, but let's just cut around this. Yeah, I have to say my desk's looking no different so far, so just might have to extend this instead of a 7 days of, you know, what's crafting with what's on my desk. It might turn into 14 days or 365 days probably is more accurate. Right, so I mean I could have something like that, like a sort of belly band piece in there. Or actually on that side I think looks quite pretty. So what I might do is trim this little banner piece a little bit smaller so as it will hopefully fit onto that page. Like that. Now the only thing is I'm going to have that thumb hole there. So that might be a bit strange then. Well, perhaps we'll put it on this side instead. So we'll just glue that down here. Like that. And just have it there. Like that. Okie dokie. Okay, and then maybe have a bit of doily. Again, just because this happened to be laying around on my desk and I just think, wow, that's the mission here, isn't it? To use up the stuff on the desk. So let's just grab another piece and get rid of it. I'm just going to tear that off because it had a sort of crease in there. I'm just going to glue it with the 3-in-1 because just in case that tacky glue marks this at all. Oops, come on. Let me just glue this down. Try and sort of lift that a bit, put that under there. Okay. Right. So that's looking really pretty, isn't it? And then of course I've got the sort of matching piece that's inside now that's like going to be a journaling card. So of course we could obviously decorate that as well. I'm not sure I should do that now because, oops, we're up to like 57 minutes. Have I stopped this video at all? I just can't remember today whether I've stopped it or not. I don't know whether I have. Oh, come on. Let's just go quite quickly. I was looking for my corner rounder, which I thought I had here, but now I can't see it. Oh, yep, there it is. Let's take that. Now again, what I personally would probably, you know, ideally like to do is have something from that Blossom Blush kit that ties in with this here, and obviously with that piece of patterned paper on the front. But again, you know, I don't want to obviously waste everyone's time whilst I'm looking for that. So I might just have to grab anything, especially as we're, you know, the time is going by so quickly. Even though it wouldn't necessarily be my choice, my first choice anyway. Oh, come on. The worst bit is I have got, I guarantee it, some other pieces from the Blossom Blush laying around here and they're just buried. I literally just can't see them. So it's pretty annoying, I must admit. But I mean, I guess that's why we're doing this, isn't it? Because it's become unworkable. So it's high time that I start getting rid of some of the stuff. That's quite nice, isn't it? This was just, I think this was like the front of a sort of gift card. It wasn't a gift card, it was like a charity card, greeting card. It's been coffee dyed, but it was again just buried on my desk, but actually looks really nice on there. So I might just have that in there. So again, let's just round those corners. And then that's another piece off the desk, would you believe? So we've got 3 whole bits off of the desk today. No, we haven't got 3 bits. We've actually used a few bits. not enough, but a few. Right. Got here some scrapbook paper. We could just have that, I guess. Oh, come on. Why have I not got any of the blossoms left anywhere? Oh, this is just very annoying. Should we just have something like that? Kind of ties in okay, doesn't it? So let's just do that. And again, I'm not going to ink it up because I don't like that scrapbook paper once it's inked. So we'll just pop it down, leaving it all quite white and bright. Like that. Okay. And we'll just pop this one down. Like that. Okay. Just like that. So again, I mean, that was another scrap that was just laying about on my desk. So another one has bitten the dust. Now again, I would probably put some brads in there, but because we're obviously now, you know, have been filming for a long time, I'm just going to glue it. So, you know, that's why I'm doing that, because I'm aware of the time situation, so I don't want to dilly-dally even more. So we just do that like that. Okay. Okay, and then obviously you've got your journaling space on the back of there. So super cute, and obviously that just slots in there. We're going to have a thumb hole anyway. You could obviously trim that down so it's now the same height as this. Yeah, I mean, actually we could do that quickly. See, you haven't quite got rid of me yet. It's always, you know, as a few of you have said recently, you know, it's always one more thing. Oops, just one more thing. Oops, that's another thing. Not that's another thing, just one more thing. Right, let's just pop that in. Hopefully it's going to be a better height. There we go. So it's like hidden now. And once the thumb hole's in, obviously it's hidden but visible, if that makes sense. So that's those pieces. Let me just bring in the other couple of pieces that we made. Oh, couple. We've made a few, look. So we've got this one, we've got this one, and then we made these clusters like that. So yeah, made a few. My desk is looking no different. I will show you, because I said that I was going to show you every day to see how it's looking. So I'm just going to flick the camera off and we will just, yeah, have a look and see any changes. As you can see, no changes. I'll just zoom out a bit. In fact, it actually looks even worse. Now, trust me, I honestly haven't added to that pile. What's happened is where I've obviously rifled through it and rummaged through it, it's now like slanting at the back. And, you know, I've pulled bits out which are now at the top instead of buried. So it's actually looking even bigger, if that's at all possible. And, yep, nothing else has changed. So we'll see. We're 2 days in, 5 days to go. So I hope that you'll stick with me. And, yep, I'd love to know how you're getting on if you're doing a similar sort of thing. So thanks very much, and I hope you'll join me soon. Thanks then. Bye.